Welcome to Galactic Mysteries, where the unknown becomes reality and the mysteries of the cosmos come alive. Have you ever wondered what lies hidden beneath the surface of unexplored planets? What forces lurk in the dark corners of space, waiting to awaken? In today's episode, we take you on an extraordinary journey beyond our world, to the cold, desolate planet Ceres, where a routine survey mission turns into something far more chilling. What begins as a simple exploration quickly spirals into a battle for survival against a force far beyond human comprehension. A force that has been lying dormant for eons, but is now waking up. Join us as we uncover the mysteries of Ceres, the ship Oculus, and the dark secrets buried beneath the surface. Is this a natural phenomenon or something far more sinister? Keep watching as we dive deeper into this intergalactic enigma. You won't want to miss a single moment. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with all our latest investigations into the greatest cosmic mysteries. Now, let's embark on a journey that will challenge everything we know about the universe. In the vastness of space, where the faint stars are mere cold dots of light against the black of the universe, the Oculus spacecraft drifts through the dust clouds on a survey of the planet Ceres. Ceres, a small, cold, lifeless planet, is just a lifeless mass of ice far removed from other planets. The crew has spent many days working steadily, but nothing unusual has happened. Time on the ship seemed to stop. Every steady sound of the system, every empty landscape of space, everything was too quiet, causing boredom to permeate. However, in the midst of that drowsiness, the light from the information screen suddenly flashed, attracting Commander Elias' attention. Elias, alone, frowning at the screen, this heat signature can't be natural. Something is wrong below the surface. With a calm, experienced gaze, Elias stared at the readings on the screen. This anomaly was unlike anything he had ever seen before. It was not a signal produced by natural phenomena like volcanoes or magnetic fields. This signal was a constant, powerful source of heat, like an eye opening in the planet's core, as if something were waking up. Captain Roberts, stepping up, voice calm, "Don't worry too much, Elias. Take note and continue your work. It could just be a normal change in planetary activity." But Elias couldn't shake the strange feeling in his heart. This signal didn't seem natural. It was too long-lasting, too strong. He decided to investigate further. The crew decided to drill down to Ceres to investigate the source of the signal. The atmosphere in the control room grew tense as the ship drilled down into the planet's surface. The steady hum of the drill, the screech of metal hitting rock, punctuated the silence of the surroundings. After a long pause, the sensors picked up another strange signal. Beneath the planet's surface, a large, shapeless structure emerged from the rocks. It was a structure that looked like a sleeping creature, but it was unlike any rock or mineral deposit the ship had encountered before. This structure looked like a living organism. Elias, confused, pale-faced, "This is not a rock. This is a living creature." Dr. Marlowe, skeptical, staring at the screen, "Impossible. We're so deep below the surface, how could there be life here?" As soon as the drill broke through the first layer of material, things got strange. Not only was the subsurface structure not destroyed, it began to repair itself immediately. Cracks began to heal miraculously, as if the body had the ability to regenerate itself. Alive, terrifying, as if nothing could stop it. Roberts, calm, soft-spoken but firm, "We need to do more testing. Keep drilling. This needs to be investigated further." As the drill descends deeper into the icy surface of Ceres, the crew begins to feel a strange shift in the environment. The atmosphere inside the ship, once quiet and controlled, now hums with a growing unease. The temperature fluctuates erratically, dipping far below expected levels, while the pressure readings spike unpredictably. The ship's sensors, usually precise and unwavering, begin to flicker, as if struggling against an unseen force. The once steady rhythm of the Oculus is disturbed by vibrations that ripple through the hull, sending an almost imperceptible chill to the bones of those aboard. Out the viewport, the swirling storm clouds of Ceres appear almost alive now, their movements unnatural, shifting with a purpose that does not align with the planet's normal behavior. The atmosphere, once static, seems to be reacting to something deep below, something stirring in the dark. Langston, voice tinged with panic, his fingers gripping the edge of the console as he watches the sensors. This is changing not only the planet's environment but also ours. The ship, it's being pulled into a vortex. He gestures to the readouts spinning, fluctuating wildly. The readings are no longer simply data points, they are a chaotic dance of numbers, a frantic attempt to understand what's happening beyond the ship's control. Boy, eyes wide, his breath shallow, anxiety rising. We have to leave immediately. This isn't just a storm, Langston. The planet, it's doing something. Something is waking up down there, and it's affecting everything around us. The crew watches as the storm clouds swirl more violently, forming into patterns that defy the normal rules of atmospheric physics. The wind seems to gather itself into a focused force, spinning faster, tighter, as if being pulled by an unseen hand deep beneath the surface. The ship groans, the vibrations intensifying, making it feel like it is trapped in an invisible grip, slowly spiraling toward the heart of the disturbance. Inside the control room of the Oculus, the crew is in a state of increasing panic as the ship's systems continue to degrade. The normal hum of the reactors and the faint vibrations of the ship are now amplified by the tug of the gravity well beneath them, warping the very space around them. The structure they've uncovered beneath Ceres is no longer passive, it is reacting, not just to the drilling, but to the energy emanating from the ship. The signals are no longer simply heat or radiation, they are pulses, like a heartbeat, growing in intensity, as if the planet itself is drawing in the life force of the ship. Langston, his voice trembling with resolve, but a deep sense of fear creeping through. There's no mistaking it. It's not just the environment that's changing, there's something down there, something alive. Something far beyond what we ever expected. As he speaks, the screen displays new data, massive fluctuations in the ship's gravitational sensors. The entire vessel shakes violently, as though it's being lifted by some otherworldly force. Langston's instincts as a scientist kick in, and with a hard swallow, he knows the ship cannot survive. They cannot simply escape, not now. This is something far greater than anything they've encountered before. Langston, in command, voice sharp and unyielding. We need to destroy it before it does anything worse. We cannot let it awaken fully. We only have one chance to stop it. Get to the self-destruct sequence now. The tension in the room is palpable, each member of the crew fully aware that this decision may be their last. Their hands hover over controls, the fate of the Oculus and their lives now hanging by the thinnest of threads. Gentry, a steely calm in his voice, recognizing the necessity of Langston's command. The decision is clear. Do it. The ship's countdown begins. The quiet hum of the reactor shifts, a low growl emanating from deep within the hull, as if the Oculus itself is reluctant to comply. Every member of the crew can feel the weight of what they are about to do, sacrifice everything to prevent the creature below from fully awakening and possibly consuming them all. The atmosphere inside the Oculus is charged with a sense of finality, the hum of the reactor growing faint beneath the strain of what is to come. The crew, standing silently at their stations, know the gravity of the decision they are about to carry out. Outside, the storm rages, the once chaotic clouds of Ceres now twisting in a frenzy, as though waiting for the inevitable. There's no going back. Elias, his voice low and steady, though his eyes reveal the fear within. We've reached the point of no return. We have one shot at this. The only way to stop what's awakening is to destroy it. We have to make sure nothing survives, nothing. The crew prepares for the nuclear detonation, the tension palpable as the seconds tick down. Every member knows they are making the ultimate sacrifice, not just for survival, but for the very chance of stopping an ancient force from rising. The countdown finishes, and a sudden, blinding flash fills the bridge, followed by a deafening roar that shakes the Oculus to its core. For a moment, everything goes dark. The ship shudders violently, a deep tremor running through its hull, as though the planet beneath them is itself shaking from the impact. But then, just as the shockwaves subside, something terrifying happens. From deep within Ceres, a signal begins to pulse, a strange, rhythmic thrum that emanates from the heart of the planet, almost like a call. It reverberates through the hull of the ship, as if answering the detonation with something far darker. The crew watches in horror as the systems begin to flicker and fail. The reactor's core lights up erratically, a chaotic surge of energy threatening to tear the ship apart. Elias, his face pale, stares at the screens in disbelief. Elias, whispering, his voice filled with awe and dread. Something has awakened, and it is still here? The ship shakes again, this time with greater force. The Oculus begins to disintegrate around them, its once perfect systems collapsing. The crew is torn from their positions as alarms blare, the sound of metal twisting and groaning echoing through the structure. The final transmission from the Oculus is a scrambled mess of distorted sounds and flickering lights. Then, silence. When the satellites are deployed to investigate, they find nothing. The once disturbed surface of Ceres is eerily calm. No sign of the ancient structure remains. The storm has dissipated, but something is different, something fundamental has changed. The faintest of signals from the space station warns that Ceres itself is no longer the same. The planet has transformed forever. The Oculus has barely escaped the blast, and the crew, though alive, is not unscathed. The ship shudders uncontrollably as they are drawn into the unseen grip of whatever forces are now at work beneath the surface of Ceres. The ship's once sturdy hull groans under the strain, metal panels warping and sparking from the internal chaos. Automatic alarms blare throughout the ship, but no one can comprehend why the explosion hasn't stopped the reactions below. The sensors blink erratically, each reading worse than the last. The crew members are caught in a state of panic, their nerves fraying as the intensity of the events unfolds. Outside, the storm continues its unnatural spiral, but now there's something more, something pulling them downward, as though the planet itself is devouring the ship. The gravitational pull from beneath intensifies, the very core of Ceres now seemingly alive, working against them. Leah, panicking, her voice tight with fear as she stumbles to her station. This isn't a storm. We're being sucked into something. Everything is spinning out of control. We're being dragged into it, into whatever is happening beneath us. Her eyes dart across the readouts, watching the pressure and gravity indicators rise faster than any of them can react. The ship's systems are becoming increasingly erratic, like a drowning man reaching out in vain for air. Elias, still calm, but his voice betrays the tension building within him. This isn't natural. It's reacting, to us. The structure, whatever it was, is pulling us in. We've awakened it, and now it's awake for good. With each word, the ship groans louder, the noise deafening now as if the Oculus itself is fighting to stay intact. The external cameras display nothing but a violent, swirling vortex. Ceres' atmosphere warped and deformed by the pull of the unseen entity. The storm outside is no longer a weather system, it is an active force, alive with purpose. The crew members brace themselves as the ship begins to tilt, the angle of the gravitational pull shifting unpredictably. Their once quiet, controlled environment has turned into a place of madness, each second feeling like an eternity. They are trapped, caught in the gravitational tug of something ancient, powerful, and relentless. The atmosphere inside the Oculus is heavy, thick with a strange, unspoken dread. The air feels thicker than before, as if it's becoming harder to breathe. The hum of the ship's systems is now accompanied by the unsettling sound of metal creaking. The monitors blink erratically, displaying incomprehensible data. The once predictable sensors now emit bursts of static, as if the planet itself is pushing back against the ship. Beneath the ship, the planet's surface, which had been relatively stable, is now showing signs of life, signs that don't align with anything natural. The temperature readings are rising exponentially. The pressure, too, is rising at an impossible rate. Every system on board seems to be responding to an invisible pull, distorting the reality they once knew. Marlowe, his voice trembling slightly as he reads the numbers on the screen, his eyes wide with disbelief. Temperature and pressure are rising dramatically. This is not a natural phenomenon. These readings, they are impossible. We are facing an extremely complex change in the structure of the planet. It's as if something is changing the very fabric of this world beneath us. The crew members glanced at one another, their faces pale. The feeling of being trapped in an unknowable event, of not being able to trust the data in front of them, settles in like a cold weight. The planet is no longer a distant, unfeeling mass, it is alive with intent, and it is reacting to them. Roberts, his face hardening with realization, his voice quiet but certain. It has awakened. Something down there is controlling this whole process. It's not just a structure. It's something else, something with power over the planet itself. The ship shudders violently, as though it's caught in a tug-of-war between two unseen forces. The lights flicker, casting shadows that stretch across the control room. The pressure outside Ceres is no longer a scientific anomaly, it is a warning. The Oculus is being drawn into the storm. The Oculus continues to experience disturbances that only grow stronger as the ship is pulled deeper into the planet's chaos. The alarms, once a background sound, now blare like a warning siren, echoing through the ship. The steady, mechanical hum of the vessel has been replaced by a violent shaking, a rhythmic pulsing that comes from deep within the ship. The ship is no longer in control of its trajectory. It moves erratically, as if being guided by an unseen hand, forced to follow the whims of the forces below. The external view from the ship reveals an ever-growing vortex of clouds spiraling around the Oculus, their shapes twisted and malformed as if something is reaching up from beneath, pulling the ship down into the depths. Inside the control room, everything begins to fall apart. Machines, once calm and reliable, now scream in protest, their internal mechanisms grinding with unfamiliar force. Panels crack, lights flash wildly, and the atmosphere becomes thick with static. The walls hum and vibrate with increasing intensity, each tremor growing more violent. Elias, his voice filled with dread, staring at the instruments in front of him, as he comes to the terrifying realization. We haven't just awakened a living structure. We've triggered an ecosystem, a complex, ancient system that is remaking this entire planet. This is no longer just a structure under the ice, it's a force of nature itself. Our ship is being drawn into a living hurricane, a vortex of energy. The gravity inside the ship fluctuates. Objects float as though the force of gravity is being bent and pulled by an invisible hand. The very laws of physics seem to be warping before their eyes. Leah, her voice high-pitched with panic, her hands gripping the edge of the console as the ship lurches violently. We can't go back. Look at this. It's not just the storm, it's everything. If we don't stop it now, the planet will restructure itself completely. Her words hang in the air, an unbearable truth. The crew is no longer in control of their fate. The ship is no longer the source of power, it is a helpless passenger caught in a cosmic storm. The planet beneath them is reawakening, and they are its unwitting catalyst. The shift in the atmosphere, the surge of energy, it all points to one thing: a force far greater than them is now in command. The ship Oculus is in turmoil. The alarms are blaring incessantly, the ship rattling violently as if gripped by an unseen force. The systems, once flawless, now flicker and sputter. Gravity fluctuates unpredictably, pulling objects to the floor and lifting them back into the air as though the very fabric of reality itself is beginning to warp. The walls groan under the immense pressure building from below the surface of Ceres. The temperature spikes and drops without warning, and the lights flicker, casting eerie shadows across the crew's faces. The subsurface structures are no longer passive. They have become active, alive. It's as though the planet itself is waking up and trying to integrate the Oculus into its changing form. Elias stands before the control panel, his face a mask of determination and fear. The entire ship seems to be breathing with the rhythm of the storm outside, each vibration shaking the crew to their core. Elias, his voice assertive, shaking with both urgency and resolve. We have no choice. If we don't stop this now, Ceres will make us part of this restructuring. We need to break through to the core, sever the connection, or we will be absorbed. Everything we've done will be for nothing. The crew exchanges tense glances, the weight of the decision hanging heavy in the air. Time is slipping away. Marlowe's eyes shine with a mixture of fear and hope. Marlowe, his voice barely a whisper, filled with the same realization. This is our last chance. But if we fail, we will be swallowed up in this change. There will be no coming back. Every one of them knows the stakes. If they fail, they won't just lose their lives, they'll become part of the planet itself, consumed and forgotten in the void of Ceres' strange new order. The decision is made, there's no turning back. The Oculus hums with an intensity that seems to reverberate through the very air, as the crew prepares to activate the powerful transmitter. The device, now installed into the ship's core, will send a massive energy shock designed to disrupt the subsurface structures and hopefully sever their connection to the planet. But the stakes couldn't be higher. Their actions will trigger a final clash with Ceres itself. Outside, the storm intensifies, swirling like a sentient being. The sky above Ceres shifts unnaturally, the swirling clouds distorting and pulling inwards as if being sucked into a vortex. It's no longer just a storm, it's a living entity, a being that has woken up beneath the surface of the planet and is now pulling everything around it into its growing grasp. The ship creaks and groans, its metallic frame bending under the pressure. The air inside Oculus feels thick, almost suffocating. The crew works swiftly, their hands moving with practiced urgency, knowing this is the only chance they have. As the final countdown begins, a deep, resonating hum fills the ship. The powerful transmitter, now fully activated, begins to pulse with raw energy, a wave of power gathering, ready to unleash a force powerful enough to tear through the very heart of Ceres. Leah, her voice trembling, eyes locked on the screen as the energy builds. We can't stop. The ship won't survive this. It's too much. Roberts, his voice calm but grim, determination in his eyes as he steps forward. There's no other choice. We have to do it, or this planet will destroy us all. With a final breath, the crew prepares for the end. The air around them seems to tremble in anticipation as the power within a ship peaks. The force of the transmitter is beyond anything they've ever experienced. They can feel the vibration of the energy surge through their bodies, as if their very souls are being pulled into the heart of Ceres. Then, with a deafening roar, the transmitter releases its energy. A massive shockwave pulses outward from the ship, cascading across the surface of the planet. The light from the explosion is blinding, stretching out in every direction, drowning everything in a flash of pure, searing white. The shockwave tears through the planet's surface, the very structure of Ceres collapsing in on itself. A wave of energy, pure and unrelenting, erupts from the heart of the planet. The Oculus is caught in a blast. The ship, along with the subsurface structure, is torn apart in an instant. The explosion creates a blinding burst of light, swallowing everything in its path. The sound is deafening, and the shockwave sends ripples through the fabric of space itself. The Oculus is gone, reduced to nothing more than scattered debris in the void of space. The storm that had once roiled across Ceres' surface begins to dissipate, its power fading into nothingness as the planet seems to settle back into an eerie silence. But when the satellites are deployed to survey the area, they find nothing. No signs of the ship, no traces of the subsurface structure. Only the remnants of an unstable storm, swirling like a phantom of the past. The surface of Ceres is eerily calm, devoid of the once living forces that had pulsed through it. Then, as the data streams back, a faint signal emerges, a barely detectable echo from the Oculus. It's not a transmission, not a full message. But it's there, an imprint of something still existing between space and time, as though part of the crew remains, lingering in the vast nothingness of the universe. Elias, his voice faint, barely a whisper, as the bright light of the explosion fades into darkness. Something is still alive, and it will continue. The message lingers, a final trace of life in the cold, empty expanse of space. The planet Ceres has been changed forever, and so too has the crew of the Oculus, their legacy now a whisper, lost to the ages but somehow still present, as if the forces they awakened will continue to echo through time. And so, the Oculus disappeared into the vast void, its crew lost in a burst of unimaginable energy. Yet, a faint signal remains, suggesting that something still lingers in the spaces between time and space. What happened on Ceres? Was this truly the end, or is something still alive, waiting to be uncovered? The truth may be hidden beneath the surface, but we won't stop searching for answers. What do you think happened to the Oculus? Do you believe the crew is truly gone, or is something else at play here? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a conversation. We'd love to hear your theories. If you enjoyed this mystery, make sure to share it with fellow explorers and keep coming back for more stories that will challenge your understanding of the universe. As always, thank you for watching Galactic Mysteries, where the stars are just the beginning of the secrets we uncover. Until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the universe is full of mysteries waiting to be discovered.